everybody, Jamie the Board Game Man, and today I realized that I haven't done a recent additions episode in quite some time. In the last month or so, well, pardon the pun, I've been on a roll. For some reason, I'm just finding game after game that I've been finding that I thought I would really want to enjoy playing, and hopefully I will. Right now it's the summertime, so I was starting to have game nights, and then summer came. Started getting a little difficult getting people together because people are taking vacations. Like Linda and I, we're going to be taking a vacation next month at the end of September. We're going to do an Alaskan cruise for a week, so I'll be gone. So I think we're all taking time off from here and there, so I figured, well, maybe I'll start the game nights back up in maybe October or so. Maybe do some filming too. That'd be great if we could do some filming. That would be awesome too. Do some playthroughs on some game nights if we can. We'll see how it works. I don't have all the fancy gadgets where I can, show everybody's player board and all our stuff, and maybe we'll figure out something we could do. So I thought I'd do some recent additions since I've been kind of really adding lately. Haven't been doing too many episodes lately. I've been so busy with work, and now with me being in retail, I work at Buc-ee's at the time of this taping. I'm working at Buc-ee's right now, so my schedule is always different every week. Maybe one week I might have Friday and Thursday, and then I might have Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday and Thursday, and then this weekend I might have off. I mean, it's really tough. And that's what made it a little tough doing the game nights too, is my days off always shift all the time, week to week. So it's difficult. So, well, I guess the first edition will be my shirt. I read the rules, so you don't have to. So who knows, maybe that might be my plug line at the very end of my videos. Now, I've had Happy Gaming since game one, or day one, game one. And I thought maybe I had to get some kind of board gaming shirt. I found this on eBay. I was like, you know what, I gotta have some kind of fun board gaming shirt. So I figured, why not do this one? So anyhow, so I guess that'd be my first edition, would be my t-shirt, I guess. And now we're gonna move on to some games. Now, I wanna do an honorable mention. Mary, who is the bookkeeper at Buc-ee's, just recently had my birthday back on August 6th. It was my 50th. And she knows I enjoy board games. And so she actually bought this for me. And she was hoping I didn't have it, which I do not have it. It's one of those card scramble games. It's a Christmas Story card scramble. I thought she was, well, I know it's Christmas. I go, that's okay. It's all good. I mean, just the thought of you doing this for me was great. So I wanted to kind of throw this out there as a little honorable mention. Thank you so much, Mary, for getting this game for me. I do not have it. I know they have other ones like Christmas Vacation and other ones that I know they have card scrambles for. I think Elf might have one too. So thank you so much. I mean, obviously it's not open yet because it's not Christmas yet, but maybe around Christmas time I might have to open it and have a fun time with Linda and I, maybe play a little game of it or something just to see what it's all about. But yeah, Christmas Story, the card scramble she got me for my birthday. So thank you, Mary. All right, I'm gonna put these off to the side as I'm talking because I literally have 12 games here that I purchased, probably give or take in the last month or so. It's just been one thing after another. Either it's been on McKay's or on Facebook Marketplace for the most part. And I believe I got maybe one or two of these through eBay as well. So first one I'm going to show is the one I just did my last episode on, which is Side Effects. And it's Expansion Booster Shot. This was the last episode I did. What it is I know some of these games I don't really know yet because I literally just got them. So my synopsis might be a little shorter. I might not be able to give too much of a synopsis, but usually I watch videos on them first to see if I might like them. And if I do, I pull the trigger and I go ahead and get it. But this one, you start off with 4 disorders in your hand. It's a card game. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to heal yourself from all of these disorders with medication. But sometimes you get the right medication for your disorder. Well, there might be side effects of those disorders. And it'll show the amount of side effects that are on each medication that you try to add on to your thing. And what it does is, okay, I cured my my anxiety, but there might be 3 side effects. I might have gambling addiction. I might get painkillers, and there might be, so other players might have those. They can give those to you because you have a side effect of that one that you just cured. It's an interesting game. There's 8 different ones, and then you have Booster Shot. This adds a few more. I think it has 2 or 3 more disorders in it, and they also have different cards, newer cards that are in there that really change up the game a lot. But the first player to cure all their disorders in the game, wins the game. So I thought this was kind of a cool thing. I actually found this at Barnes & Noble, actually. And I found this one cheaper on eBay, but this one, Booster Shot, I couldn't even find on eBay. So I went ahead, I got this at Barnes & Noble and got this through eBay, and eventually I got them both. I actually got it's funny, I got the expansion first. So I've been wanting to play this with Linda because obviously she's a nurse, and so I thought she'd kind of have fun with this one. But we've been so busy, and it's by the time she gets home, she's pretty exhausted. There's times I'm pretty exhausted too, so we really want to try to get it to the table. We haven't got it yet, so I want to play it. But that was my last episode with Side Effects, along with its expansion booster shot. So another game I recently purchased. It's still sealed because obviously I haven't had any board game nights for about a couple months now. Is Istanbul, the dice game. So I heard it doesn't play too close to the original. I've never played the original Istanbul. I would love to play it. But this is Istanbul, the dice game. So I actually found this. I believe I got this on eBay, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's been. I mean, it's been kind of a wild month, but Istanbul, the dice game, I went ahead and added that as well. I've also added Raw, the infamous Raw. This is the newest edition of it, and I believe this is from 2016. It looks like, but I believe this is the newest version of it. I saw a playthrough of it, and really liked it, and so I went ahead and I purchased it. I went ahead and got it. So this was a brand new copy that I purchased. So it's in great condition, and it's I'm waiting to play this one. I really want to play it. Raw. It's been around a long time. There have been different versions of it. I don't know if this is maybe the third one. I think they keep bringing re-releases out to it, and I want to say this is the newest one. If I'm wrong, maybe mistaken, let me know in the comments down below, but I think this is the newest one. I believe. I could be wrong. Brian Boru, the High King of Ireland. This one I picked up. It was probably about a month, maybe 2 months ago. And this one looks beautiful. And I've actually seen a Game Night actually had a playthrough of it. And I thought, And I originally got exposed to this when I was kind of, like we all do, kind of fart around on YouTube. And I found a girl that mentioned this game. And let me look at the cover of this thing. It's just beautiful to begin with. And it has that silver kind of shiny look to it. And the board looks really great. And so I thought, well, you know what, let me see what she's talking about. So she kind of mentioned it. She was going over her top 10 or something like that. And I'm like, I never even heard of that game. And it just so happens, when I saw her thing, and I went on Game Night, and they had it. So I watched a playthrough. I'm like, this looks like it'd be fun. I go to McKay's, and it's sitting right there. I mean, this is not like your typical game you'd find at a used, place. And they had a copy of it. And I believe it was brand new. Everything was still in the packaging. So I got this for a real decent price, and I'm looking forward to playing this one. Brian Boru. This next one is Sid Sackson's Route 66, however you want to say it. The Mother Road. This is very similar to Can't Stop. But this one has a road, and what you do is you try to get to the end of that road by rolling the same kind. But in this one, you're rolling the 4 dice, and you're putting your cars, and each number, like, was it 2 through 12, like in the original. And every time you roll that, you move 1 space on the little road. Once you get to the end of that road, you get those points, and that road is closed off. So no one else can get any points, just like in the original. Once you get that number, it closes off. But the little caveat, I guess that's how you say it, to this game is if you are on the last couple spaces before you get to the end, there's a little asterisk. If you get to that asterisk and say the other player gets there first, okay, the first player will get the first player amount of points, the first place, and then there's a second place. And that's if you're on that asterisk. So if you make it to that asterisk, say I make it there, then the second player comes over and finishes the road. They get the first place score, I get the second place score. So you're not completely closed off from it, but you still get points for it, and that road closes down. The end game, I believe, is when you close 8 of the 10 numbers that are on there. 2 through 12, I think it's 8. Once 8 of the roads have been finished, and you put a little stop sign on each road as they finish. And so I believe it's 8. Don't get me wrong. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if it says on here or not. But it's the whole route is 66. So it actually starts in Santa Monica, from Chicago to Santa Monica. And as you can see here, there's a little stop sign. So you would lay down the stop sign on that road that's completed. And see, there's a little asterisk I was talking to you about. And I believe it's 8. I don't think it says on the back here. But once 8 roads are completed, then the game ends. You count up all your points, and that's how you win the game. So it's not like in the original desktop. Okay, the first to 3, you close out the numbers, you're done. This one actually brings it a little bit further out. It's a fun game. It is on Board Game Arena, so check it out. That my friend Babs, who's a subscriber of mine, she actually brought this to my attention on BGA, and I do play it. I do love it, and I haven't played this in the mat. The player mat in this thing. It's not a board. It's a mat. Looks phenomenal. It looks great. So I did do an episode on this. So if you want to check it out, I do have an episode on this one. I was pretty excited when I got this one, and the box is really nice too. I mean, they did a really fantastic job on the box and artwork. All right. This next one is a Queen Games. Yes, it just came out a couple years ago. It's Finish Line. It's another horse racing game. Yes. And you can see it does have the pads. It has custom dice, 27 custom dice in there. So I know a lot of us enjoy custom dice, but there's your player pad. When you're placing your bets along the way, you got all sorts of different dice in this game. I literally just opened this, so I haven't even looked inside of it yet. But Finish Line is another one I purchased over at McKay's. It was a brand new copy, and I got it for a decent price. So I was pretty happy, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger on it. The next one I got here is Dice Hospital. I know this one's been around for a while. I found a copy over at McKay's, good old McKay's. It was I should say a new used copy, I guess you could say. It was open, but it is brand new. And everything was in steel sealed. Everything was still not even punched out yet. This game is also on BGA, Board Game Arena. I am horrible at this game. Now, I haven't played it yet because I literally just got this probably about a few days ago. But I played it on Board Game Arena, and I'm horrible at it. I mean, I don't get beat by 1 or 2 points. I'm getting beat by 10, 20 points. But you know what? That's what's fun, is that even if when you lose and you still enjoy playing it, that's awesome. And you learn from it. You just learn from your mistakes. I see how the other players play. I'm like, oh, that's how they did that. Okay, they did that strategy. And you just learn along the way. And eventually I'll get my first win. As at this taping, I have not got the first win yet, but hopefully I'll get that first win soon. So the Dice Hospital, I finally found it where the dice are actually your patients. And once they dip below 1, then they die, and you get minus points for them. Once they go over 6, once you cure them past the 6 point, they get cured and they're out of the hospital. And of course, you get points for all that good stuff. And you can actually add, as you can see here, there's tiles in the game. I love the little nurse meeples. Those nurse meeples are really cool. And then you have the specialists of different colors. And they're almost like tiles similar to Suburbia, where you place them next to each other. And you're going to place a nurse on whatever you need here. And these are all your patients down here. So if you help a red one, it says you bring it 1 more, 5. And then once you cure it, it goes down to the bottom row. And they stay cured there. But if they're uncured, they go down 1 pip. So say I didn't cure this 3. I didn't try to help it. Then it goes down to a 2 the next round. So it's a very interesting game. The dice, it's another dice chucker. So if you love dice, this is definitely a cool game to try out. As the dice, and also has the little cards that are in there too, which is great. So it's a cool little game. They have little ambulances. You roll the dice, and then you choose which ambulance you want to pick, and then put them on as your patients. Kind of cool. So right now I'm horrible at it, but you know what? Practice makes perfect. So I'll get better at it eventually. So that's Dice Hospital. This one, another Queen Games, I thought I'd put them back to back, is Luxor. This is a game that, another one, my friend Babs taught me on BGA, and man, do I love this game. I don't know what it is about it. I got a little Egyptian thing going on here. I have Ra, and I have Luxor. That's interesting. This is a fantastic game. I love it on BGA. I've not played it live yet, and it's pretty heavy. I mean, this thing's pretty heavy. But the thing is cool with this copy, when I purchased it, I believe this was a Facebook Marketplace purchase. He actually has the Mummy's Curse, which is an expansion of Luxor, is included in this box. So, which is cool. I saw the little mummy in there and all that other stuff. So, I thought, wow, this is really cool. And what added to it, too, along with Babs showing me the game on BGA, my good friend Matt Wilkins on his channel, he actually had a copy of this on him. He had an episode of this as well, along with the Mummy's Curse. He has all the Queenies. Lucky him. He has all the Queenies that go to this game. Obviously, it didn't come with the Queenies, but it did come with the Mummy's Curse. So, that's pretty cool. This is a fantastic game. I really love the game. The replayability is through the roof because you shuffle up the tiles every game. You lay them out there. It's different every single game. You pick up these tiles or these artifacts, and each one is a certain amount of points, but you need either 1, 2, or 3 of your explorers to land on those tiles in order to pick up those tiles, get the points. Some turn into little scarab tokens, which is pretty cool. And these scarab tokens have usually points between 1 to 3. And there's what do they call those? Esophaguses? Well, I can't think what they call those. The ones in the tomb. There's 2 of them in there, and and the once two players get into that, it triggers the final, the end of the game, and whoever has the most points wins. But there's a lot going on in this game. I love it. It's a great game to play. It is on BGA. Check it out if you haven't played it, because I like this game a lot. It is really cool. I have not studied the Mummy's Curse on here yet, but I have good old Matt. He showed how to play it with the Mummy's Curse. So I'm definitely going to, once my board game nights start getting back in together, I want to bust this one out. I want to bust all my games out, but this is one I really want to play because I've really found a big liking to it. It's another game I'm horrible at, but I have won a few times. I have won a couple times, but not many. I think I've played maybe, 30 games. I've won like 3. I mean, so I have won before. I was like, yeah, I got my first game. I won by like 1 or 2 points. I was like, oh my gosh, just that one extra scarab token made the difference, But yeah, it's a great game. This next one I got, I think, a week ago. A guy named Steven. I got it from Facebook Marketplace, and he lives in Knoxville. And he does a lot of plays. He goes in theater, and he does a lot of theater and stuff. Really super nice guy. Went down to his house to pick up this game. I've seen this game on game night, and for some reason it's really intrigued me. I really wanted to get it just because I love the look of it, and I want to get into it and play it. It's when you're serving beer to customers, you're adding tables for customers. It is the Taverns of Tiefenthal. This is one that is also on game night, and this is one I definitely want to break out. It's a little more involved game, but I think it's one I can actually understand and know how to play. There's also all sorts of modules in there. So if there's a certain module you don't like, you can take it out. I believe there is 4 modules in there. That's included in the game. So it says right here includes 4 expansions, and you can add things to the game. It's primarily a card and dice chucking game, and I think a lot of people know this by now. I'm way behind. I mean, this is probably, what year did this come out? Yeah, all the way back in 2019. This is before I even started collecting games. So. But I, for some reason, I've been really interested. I love the way it looks. I love the way it plays. And I love game night because they showed it. And Steven had this for sale on his Facebook Marketplace. And I reached out to him. He got back to me just about immediately. And I went down there and we talked. I think I was probably at his house, probably almost an hour, probably. Just discussing games, discussing his theater. And there's some more other games I wrote down. And I still need to look at videos for him. I might even buy some more games from him. But this is one I really have my eye on. So Taverns of Tiefenthal. So hopefully I can, once the board game nights continue here, hopefully maybe I can bust that one out as well. These ones are literally within the last 2 days. These final 3. 2 of these 3 were from Barnes & Noble. And I went down one day and got one, and then the next day I saw a game I was interested in, went home, watched a couple of videos on it, decided, you know what, I'm going to go back. So literally yesterday, literally yesterday, I picked this one up. Starry Night Sky. Look at the shimmery that's on the cover. That's pretty cool. But you are these astronomers, and what's cool is the token. It's probably dark, I don't know if you can see them. But they are actually little telescopes. So you're going and you're researching all these constellations out there. And all the constellations have cool names to them. They're funny names and all that. And what you do is you're gathering stars along the way. And each star has different colors. And once you land on a constellation for the first time, you get a point for it. And then you're going to try to lay down the colored stars that match the stars you have. And once you complete one, then you get certain bonus points and whatnot. And you're going along and you're trying to get as many of the points as you can. And it just looks like a real fun, light family game that I think would be a lot of fun. A good filler game. I think it takes, about 30 minutes? Yeah, 30 to 45 minutes. It's a 2 to 4 player game. I literally just got it yesterday. So I want to do an episode on this because this looks like, well, all my games I want to do episodes on, but this one I think would be kind of cool to bring out there. It's not a heavy game by any means, but it's enough that there's enough in it that you're really kind of thinking, okay, I want to go here. I want to make sure I snag the extra point because I want to get that first, but I want to finish that constellation. There's also cards. I believe you get 3 cards to start. They're myth cards, I believe, that actually say, okay, if this constellation complete, you get a bonus 3 points, or you get a bonus 2 points. And it doesn't have to be you completing those constellations, as long as the constellations are complete. So you could complete a constellation for someone else because they might have that as part of their myth card. So it's a really interesting game. Starry Night Sky. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. I paid $20 for it. That's all I paid. It's $20 for it. And I love the little telescopes. They're actually pretty cool looking. Did a great job on this. The board looks great. Fantastic. For $20, it's not a bad pickup. All right, now this one is the game I got at Barnes & Noble 2 days ago. Now, I went to the one in Knoxville. They didn't have a copy. There's another city called Johnson City, and it's an hour, a little more than an hour, the opposite direction. So I'm actually going farther east, Tennessee. And I decided to call them. And they said, well, we don't have any copies of this, but looks like we ordered 3. We should get some this week. Well, the next day they called me while I was working, left me a voicemail saying, hey, we got a copy of yours. Come on down at your earliest convenience. Well, luckily I had today and yesterday off. So yesterday I ran down and got Comic Hunters. This was the big one that's over at, Gen Con. I guess it was a real big one. I watched a video of it, and boy, does this look fantastic. As you can see, you're collecting comic books. Now, I was not a very big comic book fan growing up. I really wasn't. But this looks fantastic. Now, I opened it. What's interesting about this one and the Starry Night Sky, there was no wrapping. It just had the sealed stuff on it. This one didn't come off very well. I'm kind of upset. I mean, you can see it kind of messed up the side there, on the top. I mean, it's driving me nuts. But luckily, that one came off really good, but this one did not come off very good at all. And I was very, very slowly doing it. So I was like, Urgh. I can tell by the components. When I looked at the components, they're not that good. The cards are real thin. I mean, it's really, you can tell, but it's a mass market game. This one was $25 at Barnes & Noble. The theme of it's great. I mean, you're collecting all sorts of different first editions, second editions. They have every single, I think it was 8 of them. Hunt for rare issues. I believe there might be, I'm trying to remember how many there are. But the replayability is pretty cool in it because each game you choose different characters, Marvel characters, as this one's the most valuable, this is the second most, third most, and they're just randomized, which is really cool. And there's 4 different ways you draft the cards in this game. So it's not just, okay, pick one, pass it around, pick one, pass it around. I mean, there's 4 different ways that they do the drafting, which is pretty cool. Components, well, you just got to look past the components. Definitely the cards in here are very thin, but you definitely want to sleeve them. I would definitely sleeve them. Let me show you what they're. I mean, these things are, here's the cards. And they see, I haven't even opened the things up. They're very thin. I mean, these things would bend in a heartbeat. So I definitely want to try to get these sleeved. There's a lot in here, but and this is your score sheet. This is your teeny beeny little score sheet. Very, very tiny. So, yeah, very tiny. I mean, at least they're double-sided. Oh, no, they're not even double-sided. Oh, my gosh, I didn't realize that. They're not even double-sided. They're single-sided. This is all you get. So, I mean, that's something you probably want to laminate. I mean, we got 4 of them or so. I think it's a, what is the player count on this one? This one is 1 to 4. So they actually have a solo mode in this game, too. Oops, I thought it was upside down. So 1 to 4 players, 14 plus, and it takes an hour to play. But yeah, it's pretty darn tiny. But you know what? They made it so everyone can afford it at $25. It's not no $60, $70 game, which this probably could be. But for them to get the rights and all that stuff, to be able to use all the original, the actual, well, you can't see it because I got this on there. No, I could probably take this off. Let's take it off. Let's take it off right live here. But these are actual covers. Actual covers of the comic books. And you see in the upper left-hand corner, it tells you which one belongs to. That's Captain America, that's Spider-Man, Black Panther, and so on. But these are actual covers of actual comic books, which makes this really cool. But man, I tell you, these things are thin, so you got to be real careful with these. But yeah, I think that's pretty fascinating that they got the rights and all that stuff to do that. But yeah, you just got to be. I highly recommend you sleeve them, just because you don't want these to get ruined. But it's it looks like a great game. I saw Mike DeLizio from Dice Tower. He did a review on this about 2 years ago, and he did a real fine job explaining it. This is kind of interesting. They have this. It's in a plastic, and it's the tokens. It's very thin. I mean, look at this thing. You probably can't even see how thin. So they're not thick at all. These things are really thin, but those are all the tokens I was telling you about. And these are all the point tokens on the back there, you can see. But it's really thin, so you got to be real careful with this. That's the first player marker. It's just a pair of sunglasses there. And very interesting indeed. But so I had to be real careful opening this thing because there was a piece of tape that goes across the top of it. So I had to kind of surgically, slowly take that tape off. So you got to be real careful. I went ahead and slid that back in there until I get going on this. But the instruction booklet's really cool. It's actually almost just like a comic book. They have all sorts of things going on in here, which looks good. And the box is not very big at all. The box is pretty small. Actually, it's the size of a comic book. It really is. I mean, it's not a very big box at all. I mean, you see, you get Dice Hospital here next to this one. You can tell a big difference. It's like not even, it's not even the length and maybe half the width. So it's pretty much. If I were to get a comic book, it would probably lay right on top of this thing. So it doesn't take very much room at all. It's kind of cool. They have the side here. Looks like volumes 1, 2, and 3 on there. That part looks pretty cool. It has like different, and then just has Comic Hunters on the other side, and then it has the game on the back. So pretty cool. But $25 at Barnes & Noble. I had to call them, and they said that they had already ordered them. They only ordered 3 copies. So I don't know how many they said they had them. They sold out. They ordered 3 more. Why only 3? I have no idea. And I went on the floor and I couldn't find them. So I went on the floor first to see if they had any out there. They didn't have any out there at all. So I actually had to go behind them. They saved it behind the counter for me. I was able to pick it up. So anyway, that's enough about Comic Hunters. We got one more game that I literally just picked up. Over at McKay's. I had a couple games I looked at. I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to play these games. I'm going to go turn them in. It's my day off. I'm going to go ahead and run down to McKay's. So I ran down to McKay's, got about an $8 credit. And I put it towards this game, which also is on game night, and they did a playthrough. And what I did was I found it, went to my car, hit up the air conditioning because it's pretty warm out today, and watched about maybe a quarter of the playthrough and already fell in love with it. Because Dave at game night, he's awesome. He explains games so well. I'm like, yep, I'm going to go back and get it. So I went back in, got it. Only paid probably about, with the $8 credit, I think it was $23. So give or take about $16 for this game. And what's funny is the price on the back shows $59.95. I guess this game was $60 when it first came out. And even on eBay, it was a little bit up there. It's Favor of the Pharaoh. This is one I got from Busier Games. And they have lots of dice. Dice chucking game. You can see they have some custom dice in there too. And the game kind of reminds me of when you're rolling the dice, and it's not like Yahtzee, but if you do lock one die in, you get to roll again. You lock one die in, you roll again. So it's not like a 3-roll like a Yahtzee game. And what you're trying to do is if you roll a 3 of a kind, you get this card. And if you get like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get this card. And a certain card, there's 2 rows of cards that give you additional dice to roll, which helps you later on. There's another row where it lets you manipulate the dice. So it kind of reminds me of Machikoro, kind of, when you're building your hand. You're building your tableau, because you actually do get a little tableau going. And it's when you get a card, you put it in front of you. And it kind of reminds me of Machikoro. You get better and better. You start building and building and building until finally you're trying to get the pharaoh, or the queen, I think it is. Once you get the queen, which takes, I think, 7 in a row, or 7 of a kind, I think it is. That triggers the end of the game. But they have to beat whatever you rolled, which is interesting. So say I rolled 8 6s, okay, and I went and said, okay, I'm going to go for it. And I grab the queen, okay, that triggers the end of the game. Every person will get one final turn, okay, everyone takes the same amount of turns, okay. And everyone will have one last shot of trying to beat what I rolled with all the cards they have, all the manipulative cards they have. Some cards, they let you move it up 1 pip. Some let you flip it on the opposite side of the die. Like I said, some of them give you extra die. So if I had 8, like I said, 8 6s, you got to have at least 9 dice, or maybe even, say if I rolled 8 3s. Okay, so if you roll 8 4s, 5s, or 6s, you win. Or if you roll 9 of anything, you win, because it's a better hand than what I have. Okay, that's pretty much what you're trying to do. And what's cool is on the bottom of the little pyramid where you lock your dice in, it has like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what you do is if you had 8 6s, you just put one of the 6s underneath 8. And that tells you I had 8 6s. Every player has one chance at that point to try to beat what my final roll was. If they don't, I simply win. If they do, then I get one final chance to beat that with all the different cards I have. Oh, I got an extra die here. I got this. Okay, I get to manipulate that. Okay, and it's really cool. It looks like a really fun game, pretty exciting. It is on game night. And I watched the episode, and it was a great episode. It came down to the wire. And I just like, oh yeah, this is a game I want to get. So I literally got a $60 game for 16 bucks. It is brand new. It's open. So I was able to open it. There was no wrapping or anything on it. But you can tell, what's nice is the instructions are here. And then you have this part that explains the cards. So it's totally separate than the rules. So you don't have to flip the rule book to try to figure out what card does what. They have every single card in there, and it explains what does what. Okay? So it's really nice. And it shows all the different 5 of a kind, 6 of a kind, 1, 2, 3, 4, pair and a 3 of a kind, 2 pairs, all even, all odd, all dice over 4, 15 plus, total dice 10 plus, and all that good stuff. So they have all sorts of different things on here. This game actually has an app as well. You can trigger the app, and it'll randomize what cards you put out there, because you don't use all the cards each game. So it's cool. It's not the same. You can. This time we'll put these cards in there. This time we'll put this card in there, and sometimes you might not use all the colored dice that are in there. So that's what makes it replayability pretty good in this too. You don't use everything in the game. But you can see here all the cards are still unpunched. So they're all still brand new, unpunched, which is cool. And the insert in this thing is phenomenal. Here's all the dice, which we all love. Any kind of gamers love dice. You've got the gold die, the black die, purple die, clear die, blue dice, yellow dice, all sorts of different dice in here. Check out this insert. This insert's really cool. This insert is actually in the box. And what's cool is they have the bottom, it's kind of cool. And this goes right in there. And after I open all the, I could put all the different ones in the slots. And here's the little queen that you get when you get that final roll there. You have the queen. They're trying to get the queen from you. And it's really cool. I mean, it has its own little spot there. And then once I, unpunch those and put them in their spots, it's going to be nice. It's not going to be all jammed in one baggie. And they do give you a couple spare baggies, which is cool because there are a couple tokens. There are scarab tokens in this one as well that allow you to do a re-roll. Or it allows you to move a die up a pip. Some of the cards that you get, and like I said, a Monte Carlo is the same way. If you have this, if you get this card, okay, if someone rolls this, or you can move this, you can manipulate that. It reminds me kind of sort of like Monte Carlo there. But anyway, it's a brand new copy. So, like I said, none of these have been punched. So it's great. There's the pyramids I was talking about. You got the little pyramids you punch out, and that's where you put these need to be punched out too. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty darn cool. There's all the cards telling you, these they give you more dice. This tells you, okay, you get a die and you get plus, then some of them you actually get like a free die where it's a 1. And then if you want it, you roll your dice, it's actually a 1, but then eventually you can pick up that die and re-roll it like all the rest of them. It's actually a really cool game, but it is called, once again, Favor of the Pharaoh. That's one I literally just picked up, hot off the press today. And I thought, I've gotten so many games in the last month or two, why don't I do a quick little episode of newest releases? So I hope you enjoyed this episode. And never forget, let me go back up a little bit so you can see the whole thing. I read the rules, so you don't have to. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you next time.